Ernest Thornton.
My Lords, I beg leave to ask the question standing in my name on the order paper.
My Lords, we recognise that leaving the EU could affect a wide range of areas across the health and care system. We are doing everything possible to prepare our plans, and our plans should help to ensure that the supply of medicines remains uninterrupted. We continue to monitor staffing levels, and we are working to ensure that there will continue to be sufficient staff to deliver the high-quality services on which the public relies.
Noble Lady, for that answer, and I suspect this question is an appropriate question given the debate we're going to have later. And given that a majority of the House is trying to save the government from its foolishness of crashing out of the EU, these are very important questions because they affect people's lives and their futures. So, two questions. One is, what is the department doing to sort out the fact that the Home Office is completely still failing to deliver how settled status can be offered? And that includes senior and experienced doctors. So we are losing European staff from the NHS at a huge rate. It's going to have enormous problems. And the second question is about medicines. What measures are the government put in place to ensure that the shortage protocol does not negatively impact patient safety? And how are you going to prevent the UK from becoming a third-tier market for medicines and ensure that we can get access to medicines and new drugs in a timely fashion if we've crashed out of the EU?
Good question.
Well, I thank the noble Baroness for a comprehensive question. When it comes to the EU settlement scheme, we are very pleased that there are now record levels of EU nationals working in the EU, in the NHS and social care system, and we hugely value their contribution. We need them and we want them to stay. EU nationals working in the NHS can obtain their long-term status in the UK through the EU settlement scheme, and we are supporting NHS employers in promoting the EU settlement scheme. On the 15th of August, the Home Office said that 1 million people have been granted settlement status. Where there have been challenges to working through that, there is support to address it. The EU settlement scheme statistics confirm that not a single person had been refused the status that they applied for. About 3/4 of people receive that status without the Home Office needing to ask for additional evidence on the length of residence, and we are checking that that is working as it should. When it comes to medicines, we are ensuring that we continue to implement a multi-layered approach to minimise any disruption of medicines and medical products in a no-deal scenario to ensure that patients will have access to the medicines which they do need. There are about 7,000 prescription-only and pharmacy-only medicines, and we've been working very closely with suppliers, asking them to hold at least 6 weeks of stock. Where it comes to the shortage protocol, this will be led by clinicians to ensure that patients are able to access the medicines that they need and they're not put at risk, and any decision about this will be made between the patient and their clinician to ensure that it is appropriate for the care of the individual patient in question.
The government has claimed that it has done a detailed account of what would happen if we were to leave the European Union as far as the health service is concerned. Why is it that it has not published that detailed account? Why is it that we don't know any of those details? And why is it that the whole country is kept in the dark on all these issues? She has the facts. Can we please have that now so that we know what we're debating about?
I don't believe that the noble lord is presenting an accurate picture of this case. We have been very clear with the public, and there is a lot of information which is published on the MHRA website, on the gov.uk website, on the nhs.uk website, and a number of other places regarding the information about the analysis of the impact of no deal and of the impact on patients and the NHS. We have been very clear about the risks that we think there may be to temporary disruption at the border for supply of medicines and the mitigating measures which we have taken in order to ensure that that supply will continue uninterrupted to patients and to the healthcare system. If he wishes to have more information, I'm sure that he would be very happy to write to me, and I will return that letter to him and place a copy in the library.
The noble lady is aware that virtually every pharmacist and every GP are experiencing dire shortages of certain medicines already. If the government have such a good alternative plan for a no-Brexit, a no-deal Brexit, why don't they bring forward those plans to try and deal with the shortage that patients are facing today?
So at any given time, there are about 100 to 150 medicines shortages within our system. There is a team set up specifically within the Department for Health and Social Care in order to deal with these shortages. There is no evidence whatsoever that the shortages within the medicine system at the moment are related to Brexit. And I work every day in order to respond to those shortages. The system that we have set up to respond to the potential risks of no deal, which we do not want to happen, is prospective, and we are confident that it will be able to respond to any potential border disruption that would happen on the short straits.
My Lords, I wonder if the Minister could tell the House what proportion of our pharmaceuticals are actually manufactured in the UK, and whether Brexit deal negotiators discussed pharmaceutical supplies and what was the outcome, and how many people will be immediately affected if a no-deal Brexit is the final outcome?
I don't have the data point of the proportion that are manufactured in the UK. What I can tell her is that there are 7,000 prescription-only medicines and pharmacy medicines with an EU touch point, which we believe that we need to be importing into the UK at the point of no deal. And that is what, and we have been working very closely with those suppliers, and we have been asking them to hold a 6-week stock over and above the usual buffer stock, which they do hold in the case of a potential shortage, which they always hold a risk of. We have also been putting in place a number of other multi-layered mitigation measures, which include securing capacity for rerouting freight. We have also put in place a number of other measures, such as providing assurance of readiness for their logistics and supply chains to meet with new customs and border requirements, and we have been working to ensure that we have that communication that is sent out to all those along the supply chain, to all those within the NHS system, and to all those within the pharmacy chain.